Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this meeting of West Berkshire Licensing Subcommittee. Now, under normal circumstances, I'd be asking if people who are attending virtually can hear us, but I'm led to believe that there's nobody attending us virtually. So it's obviously us in the room and the only ones that attend this particular event. Before I proceed, can I formally just ask everyone to switch off their mobile phones? I'm sure most of you probably have already done so, but if you haven't, either switch it off or turn it to silent. I would like to confirm that the application we are hearing today is for Aubrey Farm, Aubrey Barn, Aubrey Farm, The Green, Beanham, Berkshire. I am Councillor Phil Barnett and I'm supported this morning at subcommittee by Councillor Stephanie Stevenson and Councillor Clive Taylor. Councillor Nigel Foote, to my right, is the substitute. The legal advisor to the subcommittee is Beth Barco to my right, and Ben Ryan to my left will maintain the record of the proceedings. Gordon Oliver is the Zoom host, but of course, at the moment, nobody has joined in, I gather. As I said earlier, the meeting is obviously with councillors, officers and parties present in this council chamber. Please note that the meeting is webcast and recording, and parties therefore should be mindful of this and bear in mind that any information will be shared during this hearing. In the set of the order in which people will be asked to speak at the appropriate point, anyone wishes to ask a question, please raise their hand. And obviously it would have been raise their hand on the Zoom if there'd been anybody on Zoom facility. This will give an indication against your name on the participants list and inform me that you wish to speak. I will also invite you to ask questions in the order I deem most appropriate. If we need to adjourn the meeting at any point, I will adjourn and all parties will be advised of the revised time and date of the meeting. If we hear the evacuation alarm this morning, we must leave the building immediately. Please proceed via a safe emergency exit route, which will be shown to us by the trained officers present. And of course, exits are to my right and fire and listed as fire exits accordingly. The assembly point is in the car park at the Dolphin Public House, which of course is just outside the main entrance to the right hand side. Anyone requiring assistance should notify the officers. If the lockdown alarm sounds, we will remain seated and await instructions from officers. We will adjourn the meeting in such a time as it is safe to proceed. At this point, does any person present in the chamber have any questions at all? Can't see any hands. Okay. Now, can I confirm the following, please? Can I confirm that the applicant Nigel Hopes is attending today in person and Duncan Craig is attending in person? Yes. In person, well done. Okay. Can I confirm the following objector is attending in person and intending to speak? Leslie McEwen. Hello, good morning. Can I also confirm that the following objector is attending in person and intending to ask questions only? Graham Bragg. Sorry? Delayed. Okay, thank you. And I was just going to ask, confirm whether Councillor Dominic Bowick is attending, but he's not at the moment. I don't know, is anybody aware that he's due to come at all? No, okay. All other objections submitted in writing and which appear in the agenda pack will be taken in consideration by the panel when they make their determination on this matter. I will now go on to explain how these meetings are conducted. The council licensing officer, Philippa Heath, will introduce the application, after which the calling parties will be taking place in the following order: representations by the applicant, representations by the objectors, representation by the ward member if he obviously attends, and summing up by the applicant at some stage after the proceedings. Remember, each group has 10 minutes in which to make their case, and this should be taken into account the licensing act's 4 objectives: the prevention of crime and disorder, public safety, the prevention of public nuisance, and the protection of children from harm. Ben Ryan will be timing the 10 minutes, and I will notify you when I have a minute, when you have a minute left in the 10 minutes, if you so wish to go to 10 minutes. Once all representations have been made and all questions asked, I will close the meeting. After this, the members will meet privately to make a decision, and a written decision notice will be issued to interested parties setting out the verdict as soon as possible, I might add, but in any event within 5 working days of the hearing. Now, is everybody happy up to that point and you understand the procedure of the hearing? I can't see any shaking heads.
Chair, could I just ask for one thing? I'm going to be speaking and then my client wishes just to say a few things, and we've sort of divvied it up between us that I'll be about 8 minutes and he'll be about 2. So would it be possible to be notified when there's 2 minutes left, please?
I think it's always been the case that, you know, it's between yourselves to make sure that you've kept within the allocated time. Which way you want to work it, it's obviously up to you entirely. Okay.
Could I please be notified when there's 2 minutes left? Is that okay? Thank you very much.
Certainly.
Thank you.
Okay. Right, I'll now move on to declarations of interest. Can I ask members if they have any declarations of interest they wish to declare? Okay, Councillor Taylor first.
Yes, Chair. I wish to declare an interest in so much as I chaired and was a member of the planning committee that considered the planning application for Aubrey Farm some months ago. I also indicated that I supported the application at that meeting. I therefore feel on reflection that it's inappropriate for me to take part in this meeting today.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your explanation, Councillor Taylor. Before moving any further, I think I'm entitled to just ask Councillor Stephanie Stevenson to also declare what her interest is, and then obviously I will then make a judgment. Councillor Stevenson.
Yes, Mr. Chair, upon reading all of the objectors' letters and emails, I discovered that I actually work for one of the objectors. So I feel that the applicant might perceive me to be biased in favour of the objectors because I work for one of them.
Councillors, in view of what you've just said, and quite clearly you both feel that you are not feeling happy sitting around the table and discussing this particular application. Is that correct? Okay. That obviously puts me and the proceedings in some difficulty because we immediately are now down to myself. I can turn and look to the substitute, But even if the substitute feels he wishes to continue, it only means there's two out of the three members, which would therefore mean that we're in core 8. I therefore have no other alternative way of saying that this proceeding of this licensing subcommittee will not be able to proceed, and therefore we will have to adjourn the proceedings.
Chair, can I just ask, when you say in core 8, and obviously I know what a quorum is that based on your constitution? Is it actually written in the constitution?
It is part of the Licensing Act. I've just been informed by the legal officer for this committee.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm not sure I agree with that, but you've made your decision, Chair. Thank you.
Sorry, can I therefore just hand over to Ben Ryan, who will make some comments to you?
Sorry, as the applicant, may I just ask a question to the chair?
If it's relevant before I bring in Ben Ryan.
Well, I was just wondering, is there any mechanism for the applicant and the objectors to accept the potential conflict?
I'm afraid from listening to the advisor, I'm afraid we're unable to do this. I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you.
The only thing I would like to add is as soon as this meeting's finished, I'll be in contact with other councillors and arranging a panel as soon as possible. Okay.
What would the rough timescale be for that, please?
As soon as possible is all I can really say, unfortunately.
Within a month?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And could I, stating the obvious, could we in that process please ask the other councillors to consider their position regarding conflicts so that we don't have another
Of course.
deferral? Thank you.
If I can just make a couple of points from the chair, I can be pretty certain, and you can be rest assured that we will make absolute certain that the interested councillors that have willingly put their names forward to attend the proceedings will need to look closely at their association with anything which has been undertaken in the past relating to this application. So you can be rest assured. If I can just sort of try and close the proceedings, obviously.
Sorry, Mr. Chair, may I ask one further question? In terms of process, one of the things that I was somewhat concerned about in terms of the process was that I was only informed regarding the objectors after the date that the time period for submitting representations had expired. In view of this deferral, is it possible for potential additional objectors, potential additional supporters to make representations?
I have this morning been made aware of a procedural irregularity and that Beanham Parish Council did issue a statement on time. And unfortunately, that was not included within the pack. Clearly, I'm sure officers will apologise for that, but it's important that you know that that was submitted within time and therefore can be included within the pack. If the hearing had taken place, this would have been raised with the parties. There's also one further objector that is referred to in the licensing report as part of the papers, where the individual concerned wanted to keep their objection private. We have been in touch with them and we haven't heard any further to the extent to confirm whether it's to be included or not. That will clearly be ironed out, but it's just important that you're aware that those two were submitted within time, but there's no other representation say for that.
If I can just make a couple of comments also from the chair, I think it's imperative that within the council's jurisdiction that all the relevant papers are made clear, precise, and available, and obviously no discrepancies within the information which is supplied. And of course, obviously, this document was a public document, and we want to make sure that everything is absolutely spot on, so that both the applicant and the objectors are aware of all the relevant information which is associated with this particular licensing case. Okay, so finally, you know, from the chair and on behalf, obviously, on behalf of the council, can I formally apologise for this this unfortunate happening, and something we probably wouldn't have normally expected to happen, but you know, things do happen occasionally, and let's hope that when it's reconvened that everything is all in order, that we can thoroughly go through this particular case and make a fair and reasonable judgment on the conclusions of the hearing that we are about to hear, hopefully, as Ben has said, within the next few weeks. And I mean, the important thing is making sure that the appropriate members are available, and also, obviously, all your different different individuals that need to give contributions to this particular case are also available. So I'm sure we'll be going around checking on available dates, correct, Ben?
Yeah, I'll probably take the chairman and Nigel straight after this meeting and see when they can be available and build from there.
But Ben, if it's okay, I'm going to share my availability with you as well, because my diary just fills up very quickly all the time. So yeah.
Yeah, just send in your availability. We'll get something on it.
Sorry, a comment, I take it.
Yeah, thank you. Our diaries fill up very quickly as well. Am I right in assuming that if we had, like I had already registered to speak, that I don't have to re-register for the next meeting, or do I?
That's okay. Yep, it's okay.
Okay, thank you.
Well, unless anybody else has got any other quick observations, I'm going to formally close, or let's say adjourn these proceedings until such time that we meet again.